Hello and welcome to today's video. We are talking about the state flags for the states sitting in the Union numbered 46 through 50. This will complete almost the US because guess what? We're not done. Even after this, we'll have the territories and um, regions that are kind of ruled by the US, such as Puerto Rico and Guam and the Marianas Islands, and so on. Altogether, I think there's 7 of them. I'll have to look them back up, but yeah, we'll go over them in the next video. But for this one, this will complete all the states, which I do again have my notebook available, as always. So, with that said, let's get into it. First one we're going to talk about is Oklahoma. It's known as the Sooner State, the land of the red man, or Native America. Sooner State is the most recognizable name, as the name of the college is the Oklahoma Sooners. Um, and it became the 46th state on the 16th of November, 1907, which means it's the first state to become a part of the Union in the 1900s. So, 1907, the first state to become a state in the new century. They had all became part of the states in the 1700s and the 1800s. So that was the first one to start in the 1900s. Um, Natives of Oklahoma were the Kiowa, the Apache, the Comanche, the Quapaw, and the Osage. Throughout the 1800s, Oklahoma was known as Indian Territory. That's because multiple tribes were often forced off their land and moved to Oklahoma. It's where a lot of uh, reservations were placed, and for a long time it was just known as Indian Territory. Um, but a lot of the tribes were moved, including the 5 civilized tribes of the southeast U.S., which include the Choctaw, the Cherokee, the Chickasaw, the Creek, and the Seminole. And that's often referred to as the Trail of Tears. It's a very well, let's just say it's a very shameful period in American history that you took all these tribes. The Cherokee even won their court case, saying we shouldn't be forced off our land. And Andrew Jackson told the Supreme Court, well, you made your decision, now let's see you enforce it, and had them removed anyway. So it's a very shameful point in history. Um, but yeah, by 1890, there were more than 30 indigenous nations and tribes that were in the Indian Territory. So, I mean, we're talking about a lot of tribes, a lot of groups of people forced into um, a small region like Oklahoma. I'm going to zoom the camera out a bit. Sorry about that, doing it in the middle. Um, and by 1881, 4 of the 5 major cattle trails were through Oklahoma, with the Dawes Act and the Land Run Act of 1889 um, Oklahoma became an open territory for settlers. And those that often showed up on the land before it was to be auctioned off were called Sooners, thus the name, because they got there sooner. Thus, that's why you have Oklahoma Sooners. Now, let's talk about the flag. Oklahoma's flag is light blue. It's got the word Oklahoma at the bottom, and it has a picture of the flag of a Native American, looks like a dream catcher with a branch of, looks like ivy, crossing a peace pipe. And that's really the flag for Oklahoma. And that's what it kind of looks like. So that takes us to our next flag, our next state, which of course is New Mexico. Capital of New Mexico is in Santa Fe, and it's known as the land of enchantment. It became the 47th state on the 6th of January, 1912. So that puts it right around the time of World War I. Well, not quite World War I. That was 1914 to 1918, but just kind of before it. Natives were the Navajo, the Apache, and the Utes. And although it was named after the Aztec Valley of Mexico by the Spaniards in the 1500s, Nuevo Mexico, it became a part of the U.S. after the Mexican-American War. So it had its name of New Mexico for quite a while, but it didn't actually become a state until much later. So, and a little bit of modern history. It was the site of the first nuclear bomb tests. So, at White Sands Missile Range, the Trinity tests. So, that's another part of history it's involved with. Now, let's describe the flag. It's a yellow flag with a kind of red cross in the middle. Each point of the cross is made of 4 lines, and there's a big circle in the middle of the cross. So that is the flag of New Mexico, which takes us to the next state. And that is Arizona. Capital of Arizona is Phoenix. And it's often known as the Grand Canyon State or the Copper State. Because, of course, the Grand Canyon runs through Arizona. Now, it became the 48th state on the 14th of February, 1912, which is, of course, Valentine's Day. Kind of a unique thing for a state's birth date to fall on Valentine's Day. Natives of the state were the Navajo and the Apache. It was built from land, won in the Mexican-American War, and the bottom part of the state was from the Gadsden Purchase from Mexico. So that's kind of how the state of Arizona came to be. And let's kind of describe the flag. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So, now, you have a flag at the bottom. It's just a blue board. It's just a blue flag. In the middle of the flag is a kind of copper star, kind of recognizing its nickname as the Copper State. And at the top, you have 13 rays of light, which kind of gives acknowledgement to the original 13 colonies. And they're red and yellow, and that is Arizona. That will bring us to our next state, which is Alaska. Alaska's capital is Juneau, and it's known as the last frontier. It became the 49th state on the 3rd day of January, 1959. So both world wars had been fought. The Cold War was already in swing, and Alaska becomes a state. 1959. Natives were the Tlingit, the Haida, the Tsimshian, the Aleut, the Yupik, the Alutiiq, and the Inupiat. Which, again, I apologize for any butchering of these names, even though a lot of them are European-based and not necessarily the names of the tribes themselves as they see it. But especially these type of names, because these are a bit tougher where they are from Alaska. Those from the icy wildernesses of Canada and the U.S. and North America they're kind of hard to pronounce, so I do apologize. Now, Alaska is kind of known as Seward's Folly, which Seward, of course, was Abraham Lincoln's Secretary of State. Now, Seward, he purchased Alaska from Russia for $7.2 million US on March the 30th, 1867. So at that point, he was working for Andrew Jackson, or not Jackson, Andrew Johnson. My apologies. But yeah, Seward purchased Alaska, and even though it was known as Seward's Folly for a great period after he purchased it, soon there was discovery of all these minerals, all these all this oil, all this gold, all this everything. It's not known as Seward's Folly anymore. But there is more to the state besides it's just resource wealth, although it's often not seen for that. Alaska is gigantic in its region. the land territory of Alaska. For example, you could put the next three biggest land states together: California, Texas, and Montana, and Alaska would still be bigger. It is a huge swath of land. So that kind of gives you an idea of how big Alaska is. It was only purchased for $7.2 million. I think we paid more for the Louisiana purchase. Oh no, the Louisiana purchase was $3 million, I think. Can't remember exactly right now, but anyway, it wasn't a lot of money for that much land. But let's talk about its flag. You have a dark blue background, a picture of, I think it's the Big Dipper or the Little Dipper, I can't remember, in stars at the bottom. And then in the corner, you have one big star, kind of representing how clear the night sky is in a region like Alaska. So yeah, and that is Alaska, which brings us to our final state and final flag of the states, Hawaii. So, Hawaii. Its capital is Honolulu, and it's known as the Aloha State, Paradise of the Pacific, or the Islands of Aloha. Those are the nicknames, with the Aloha State being its official one. It became the 50th state on the 21st of August, 1959. So it too became a state in 59. The very last one we've inducted so far. Now, the history of the natives on Hawaii is a bit different. But they're often from traveling from other Polynesian islands, such as the Marquesas, Raiatea, Bora Bora, and arguably Tahiti. But basically, there were waves of natives that came from these islands that would populate Hawaii. Like I said, they are all kind of Polynesian islands, so it kind of shares a language. But yeah, that kind of forms Hawaii, or Hawaii, if you prefer. I'm not sure the proper pronunciation. I was about to say translation, but Hawaii. I do know there's less consonants and less vowels in their alphabet. So it's often based on Polynesian words. Now, the Kingdom of Hawaii was recognized as a sovereign nation until a group of capitalists from Europe and the US overthrew the monarchy in 1893. So yes, it was its own kingdom. It was its own nation. Recognized, certified by everybody. But a group of capitalists who thought they could make some money. Let's overthrow the kingdom. Eventually, the US took control, and by 1959, it became a state. Now, let's talk about the flag. It is a flag with 8 stripes. White, red, blue, white, red, blue, white, red. From top to bottom. And in the upper left-hand corner, it has, I guess it'd be the Union Jack. So, which if you know what the Union Jack is, it's an old British flag. I don't think they use the Union Jack anymore. Well, except for selling. I don't think they use it for anything else. I may be wrong on that. Please let me know. But that is the flag of Hawaii. And that brings us to 50 states. Now, like I said, I will make a video regarding the next flags, which will be the U.S. territories. And from there, I'm thinking about making videos on nation flags. Although, if Canada has provinces, where Canada has, 7, 8 provinces? If they have individual flags, I may make them first. So if the provinces of Canada do indeed have alternative flags from just their home native, from the Canadian flag, I'll work on them as well. But I do want to go ahead and set up nation flags. But the next one will be on U.S. territories, like Puerto Rico, Guam, and so on. But remember, as always, I do want to say, educate thyself. Read, study, learn. I think an educated populace is what we need right now. Because unfortunately, the stupidity and lies are running rampant. And we need an educated populace. We really, really do. And I also do want to say, guys, girls, anybody who's listening, have a good day. There are people out there who care about you. And I want to shed a little love, a little light on your day. Make you a little happier. So, have a good day. I hope you feel alright. I'll talk to you again later. Bye.